Hi guys, welcome back to this place. If you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I'm Carmen, and today we are watching season 2, episode 6 of Dark. We are on the tail end of season 2, so I'm really excited. I say it every single episode. I could not say it more. I am obsessed with this show. I am so invested. I am so excited to watch each episode. Like, I would binge this so hard if I could. I'm kind of glad that I can't though, because I feel like it gives me more time to attempt to process each episode and what is going on, because there is so much to unpack, so much that I'm sure a second watch through, knowing everything, will, reveal so much more to me. I honestly can't wait. So I don't want to ramble too much at the beginning. Last time we had the revelation that Noah is Charlotte's dad. Now, who her mom is remains up in the air. I currently have no guesses because the only guesses I had didn't really make any sense to me. So we'll see. We'll see if after this episode I have any idea. I'm really curious what's going on with Jonas and where Adam sent him back and how it's going to play out, because I still feel like we might be in the loop, and I'm not sure exactly like how anything Jonas does is going to change it. I also think that adult Jonas and Adam could very well be unreliable narrators in this story. I mean, adult Jonas for sure has multiple times left out key important details when talking to people that we know to be the case or know to be true. So, curious about that, curious what's going to happen with everybody. But again, like I said, I don't want to ramble too much. Let's just get into this episode and see what new mysteries there are to attempt to unravel.
Wo hat alles angefangen?
God, you scared the fucking shit out of me, Adam.
Wo haben die Dinge begonnen? Gibt es überhaupt Anfang und Ende? Oder ist alles in einer endlosen Schleife miteinander verbunden? Und Anfang und Ende nur unterschiedliche Worte für ein und denselben Moment.
I guess we're gonna find out, because Jonas is gonna try to go back to the day before his dad, right?
Guten Morgen.
Oh, so he doesn't remember?
Nicht vergessen, Katharina und Ulrich machen heute ihre Party. Komm nicht wieder so spät zurück, okay?
Ja.
Oh.
Bist du sicher, dass du nicht mitkommen willst?
Will jemand Kaffee?
I'm so curious as to why he did what he did, Is Jonas
Also, ich muss dann los.
gonna come and talk to his dad? He doesn't like the yellow coat. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure why, I just thought that it would be him. That's weird.
Du hast die Röteln. Von allen Tagen musst du dir ausgerechnet heute aussuchen?
Yeah, he chose it for sure. Yeah. I mean, I know she's joking, but just like... So is this how Ulrich and Hannah, became a thing?
Kommst du nachher?
Was he involved in that? Murder in Marburg?
Vielleicht ist das der Grund, warum das alles passiert ist.
What?
Weil ich nichts von dir kriege. Nichts.
Well, I mean, I don't think she
Es
owes
ist,
you
als ob du da drin tot bist.
a response in this moment when you've hurt her.
Wegen heute Abend.
glaube, dass es das Beste ist, wenn ich allein zu den Nilsens gehe.
Interestingly, all of this seems to have made them much more close. Because here and in season 1, they were like quite far apart. Is this when he finds the necklace that he gives her later?
Was ist das?
Sieht ziemlich alt aus.
Das ist der heilige Christophorus.
That's the necklace that adult Jonas left for her,
Schutzheilige der Reisenden.
right?
Frag mich.
Interesting travelers.
Ultimate Fistbump?
Du, fass die kleine Pestbolle da hinten bloß nicht an, der hat die Röteln. Wo ist denn dein Fahrrad? Sollen wir dich mitnehmen? Na dann bis heute Abend.
That
Ich
would
kenne
be
mindestens eine
so
Person,
weird
die
for
sich
him.
besonders freut, wenn du kommst. Und die heißt nicht Magnus.
Ulrich, bitte.
Wieso? Ist doch kein Geheimnis, dass Martha voll in den verschossen ist.
Hört auf. Komm, wir nehmen dich mit und setzen dich am See ab.
Nein, ist in Ordnung, wirklich.
Gut.
Okay.
Also dann bis später, Romeo.
Nein.
That must be such a fucking awkward interaction. Because it's like, that's his dad, and those are his grandparents. And now he knows that. Whereas before he had no idea. Because, like, obviously you would never assume that because, like, your brain would not be like, the girl that I like's younger sibling is whatever. Jonas, aren't you, here for a purpose? Like, to stop your dad? Shouldn't that be your priority? You don't need to take a detour to the lake. His hair's
Ich dachte, ich
longer.
habe noch Zeit. Warum sagt man das eigentlich?
There's more
Zeit
time.
haben. Wie kann man Zeit haben, wenn sie eindeutig dich hat?
Because people like to think that they're in control of their life and the world, when we're very much not.
Was ist passiert?
Oh, a lot has happened to him.
Ich finde, wir beide passen perfekt zusammen. Denk nie was anderes.
Isn't that what she told him? Jonas? You know that this is not okay, sir. That is your aunt. That is your aunt. He just doesn't give a fuck. He should be a Targaryen. You know? I'm just saying. I'm very much not here for this. Also, the fact that he just told her that, and I'm pretty sure she says that to him later, proves that this is part of the loop. Does it not?
Kann er bei euch mal aufs Klo? Hannah? Hallo?
She has to know.
Nee, klar. Quatsch.
She's looking and realizing,
Ist gleich gegenüber der Eingangstür.
right? Does he know? What's going on? Why did he get freaked out? Did he know? Is it like you can't really interact with yourself because it's like fucking up the timeline? Or was he just creeped out because an adult man was just standing behind him in a kind of creepy way?
Du siehst gut aus. Mit den Haaren. Scheiße, du weißt, was ich meine.
Sehen wir uns morgen.
So awkward. She's like,
Ciao.
alright, thanks, bye. Poor Bartosz. You just don't understand. Future Jonas just came men and started kind of fucking shut up a little bit. A little bit. He is stressing. Lots of little sweat beads. Maybe I'm wrong about him. Murder.
Bella, ich bin's. Ich möchte, dass du etwas für mich herausfindest.
Okay. I didn't read it fast enough, so I didn't see if it said solved or not solved.
Bist du nicht eigentlich bei den Nielsens?
He hasn't seen his dad in so long.
Ist irgendwas passiert?
Oh, he's gonna hug him.
Ist alles gut?
I just wonder if this is what makes his dad write the letter.
Was ist denn mit deinen Haaren?
Yeah, finally someone notices that his hair is way longer.
Ich weiß es.
Was weißt du?
Ich weiß alles.
You're Mikkel?
Was?
Ultimate Fist Bump?
Yeah, he remembers.
Warum hast du das gerade gesagt?
Weil ich es weiß, Papa. Ich weiß alles. Ich weiß, dass dein richtiger Name Mikkel Nielsen ist.
Oh God. I don't know why this is so stressful. Forgive you for what? You got trapped back in time. What the fuck?
Es ist Ulrichs und Katharinas Hochzeitstag. Du bist nicht mitgegangen, so wie immer. Du bist hier geblieben. Aber irgendwas war anders. Ich hätte merken müssen, dass was ist.
Jonas, ich habe keine Ahnung.
Lüg mich nicht an, okay? Ich weiß es. Verdammte Scheiße. Ich weiß, dass du dich am Atelier hängen wirst. Hast du den Brief schon geschrieben?
Welchen Brief?
See, what if
Den Brief, den du an mich schreibst.
him going back in time
Nicht an mich,
causes
an dein
this? It's him. He's the precipitating event.
Der, auf dem steht, dass man nicht vor dem 4. November 22:13 öffnen soll. Exakt in der Minute, in der du verschwindest, dass du dich umbringst. Das ist der Anfang.
That's what he thinks, but what if him going back in time to tell him this is actually what starts it all? I'm so stressed.
Versprich mir, dass du es nicht tust. Papa, du musst es mir versprechen. Bitte. Versprich es.
Ich habe darüber nachgedacht, was du am See gesagt hast.
He's like, what?
Über Omas und das Internet?
See? He has no idea what's happening. Bless his
Ich finde, dass
Lord.
du recht hast.
Okay.
Poor Jonas. He's like, sure. I accept this. See, that happened because of what Jonas told her, which is telling me that the loop is still fucking happening.
Ich habe sie nicht gefunden. Jemand hat sie mir gezeigt.
Wer?
Yeah, who?
Du.
What? What?
Wie meinst du das?
Wir waren bei den Höhlen.
Was gibst du mir dafür?
Arschtritt kriegst du.
Was da drin ist?
Was ist mit deinen scheiß Lampen?
That's why he doesn't like the fucking raincoat.
Du hast gesagt, da ist etwas im Wald. Etwas Böses. Und dass wir zur Höhle zurück müssen. Du hast mich den ganzen Weg bis zur Tür gebracht. Und durch den Tunnel. Ich hatte solche Angst. Aber du hast meine Hand gehalten. Und dann hast du gesagt, wir müssen hier bleiben. Die ganze Nacht. Aber wenn es morgen ist, dann ist alles gut. Und als ich aufgewacht bin, warst du weg.
Why? I don't
Die ganzen Jahre versucht zu verstehen,
fucking insane.
warum du das gemacht hast.
Not all these years, but
Aber dann ist das alles irgendwann verblasst. Unwirklicher geworden, wie im Traum. Vielleicht bist du gar nicht hier, um mich aufzuhalten. Sondern um mir überhaupt erst zu zeigen, was ich tun muss.
you're the fucking precipitating
Du hast mir
event.
den Brief nur gezeigt, damit ich weiß, was darin steht, damit ich gehe und du lebst.
Nein, das kann nicht sein. Das kann nicht sein. Er hat mir gesagt, dass ich den Ursprung verändern kann. Wenn du dich nicht umbringst, wird nichts von alledem passieren.
Aber wenn all das nicht passiert,
Then
dann
you
wirst
won't be
du nicht
there
geboren.
to go back and tell him not to do
Und
it.
vielleicht ist deine Rolle in all dem viel größer, als du denkst. Und vielleicht bin ich nur ein kleiner Teil eines so riesigen Geschwürs, das viel größer ist, als wir uns alle vorstellen können.
What?
Das hat schon mal jemand zu mir gesagt.
Ja.
Himself. Adam.
Gott irrt sich nicht. Er hat einen Plan. Für jeden von uns.
Fucking Claudia?
Ich habe lange auf diesen Moment gewartet, dass wir uns wiedersehen.
Wer bist du? Gehörst du zu Adam?
Da draußen gibt es zwei Seiten. Er ist der Schatten. Ich folge nicht ihm, sondern der Seite des Lichts. Er hat dich angelogen. Er hat dich exakt hierhin geführt, um genau alles wieder so auszulösen, wie es immer passiert.
This is
Nein,
what
das
I
kann nicht sein.
fucking said.
Adam will das auch.
You need to ask
Nein,
more
das will er nicht.
questions, Jonas.
Er will die Dinge nicht gerade rücken, er will sie für immer zerstören. Deine Rolle in all dem ist viel größer, als du glaubst. Nur du allein kannst all dem ein Ende setzen.
Was soll das heißen?
Wir sind in einem Krieg und du musst ihn gegen dich selber führen. Gegen Adam.
Aber wenn es mich nicht gibt, wenn ich nicht geboren werde, dann kann es Adam auch nicht geben.
Yeah, it'd be that.
Ich
Fair.
hab die Welt ohne dich gesehen.
I'm so confused.
Wir alle müssen Opfer bringen. Auch dein Vater muss Opfer bringen.
Es ist in Ordnung.
But I'm so confused, you guys. Like okay.
Wenn morgen die Welt untergeht und alles neu beginnt, was würdest du dir wünschen?
Eine Welt ohne Winden.
That's what she said when they were kids, right? Is this like when they first started having the affair at his anniversary party? That's kind of shitty at work. I guess he did this even though he knew it was kind of messed up because he was like, well, I'm not going to exist soon, so it doesn't really matter. Poor Jonas, Adam told him that he could save his dad, and so he was thinking like, I can do this thing and then I won't exist, but like my dad will be okay. And then
Lieber Jonas, Wenn du das liest, ist alles bereits unwiederbringlich geschehen. Es kann nicht mehr geändert werden. Ich hätte dir die Dinge sehr gerne früher erklärt. Aber ich hoffe, wenn du verstanden hast, wie alles zusammenhängt, wirst du meine Entscheidung verstehen. Die Wahrheit ist ein seltsames Ding. Man kann versuchen, sie zu unterdrücken, aber sie findet immer ihren Weg an die Oberfläche. Wir machen eine Lüge zu unserer Wahrheit, um zu überleben. Versuchen zu vergessen, bis es nicht mehr geht. Wir kennen nicht einmal die Hälfte der Mysterien dieser Welt. Wir sind Wanderer in der Dunkelheit.
Okay, so he got the necklace back at some point. He gave it to Murda.
Du hättest es ihm sagen können. Du hättest ihm sagen können, was seine Aufgabe in all dem ist. Auf welchen Weg du ihn wirklich schickst.
Nicht mehr lange. Dann beginnt der letzte Zyklus.
Who the fuck are they?
Wir alle müssen Opfer bringen, Magnus.
Excuse me? That's Magnus? This episode is like, I need to watch it again. Okay, so there was a lot in this episode, and I am still trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is happening. So, Adam is the antagonist, right? Like, we're trying to not have whatever the fuck it is that he wants, which we don't know, happen. For some reason, Magnus and my guess is Franziska want the same thing he wants. They're also in 1921, which kind of makes me think that they did end up using the time machine at some point, him and Marta and Franziska and maybe Elizabeth. Although we also saw her in 2052, Elizabeth. And she seems to be, I don't know, I guess she kind of seems to, like, buy the Kool-Aid in just a different way, maybe. So I'm not really sure exactly what the fuck is going on. I think that that's the purpose of the show, is that, like, make me unsure what the fuck is going on. It was as I suspected, which is that Adam was untrustworthy. He told Jonas that going back in time and stopping his father is what was necessary, when really he knew that was the precipitating event that would cause all of this to start going in motion. So Adam manipulated Jonas. Again, I feel like Jonas is partially to blame, because I feel like he's been through enough shit at this point. You know, talking to his adult self, traveling back in time, meeting his father, realizing it's Mikkel. You know, all these things that he's been through at this point, going into the future, seeing the destruction of the world, kind of. And I think that he should be a little bit more discerning. Like, he needs to ask some more questions. Like, why the fuck should I trust you? You know? Like, I don't know. I feel like, unfortunately, because he is in this part of his life, right? So he's like the youngest version of Jonas, kind of currently, that's been through shit, but not everything. He's at a disadvantage because Adam knows everything that Jonas goes through, right? He knows all of it. What I don't understand is why at no point does any older iteration of Jonas try to change anything, right? Like, the middle Jonas, adult Jonas, we'll call him, he's still, like, he's leaving details out, he's lying, he's, being an unreliable narrator, and keeping key details from key people like Charlotte, like himself. And so it's like he's already on the path to being Adam, because he's already turning against Claudia, who I think we're supposed to think, at least in current iteration, episode 6 of season 2, is the good guy. You guys, I'm so confused. Also, like, why does Jonas take Mikkel's hand and lead him into the cave? Just because it all has to happen a certain way? And, like, Claudia says that the future without Jonas is somehow worse than whatever it is that Adam is trying. So he's necessary. Like, his existence is necessary. We're sort of, it's a wonderful lifing it in the fact that his existence makes things better versus worse. So I'm confused. I am trying to figure out what Adam really wants, what his purpose is. Because adult Jonas kind of seemed like he thought that Claudia had manipulated him in a bad way, yet I think that's just because he's becoming Adam already, right? I also thought it was really interesting that they sort of explained that Mikkel, like, the longer that he stayed in 1986, it seems like the more that he kind of forgot that he was outside of time. And so I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, your brain, just to cope with such a fucking crazy, insane experience, would just create a story that you could live with, right? And then when as they're getting closer to the event happening, where he goes back and he sees himself and he runs it, and he's seeing, like, Ulrich and Katerina, like, bits of it are coming back, because he said to Jonas that it kind of, like, seemed like it turned into this really unclear dream. And then he saw the raincoat, and he saw Mikkel, and he just had these little flashes of moments that were flashes of memory for him. So he was sort of remembering what happened, which is interesting because we also saw that a bit with Hannah when she's looking at Mikkel, and there's, like, this moment of recognition, because obviously she remembers what her husband looked like when he was a child, and she's probably like, what the fuck? So that was really interesting. I don't understand exactly what happened between Mikkel and himself. Now, from Mikkel's perspective, a creepy ass adult man just showed up standing right behind you. Like, yeah, that would be a little bit creepy. So I can understand his, like, what the fuck, and, like, leaving. From adult Mikkel's perspective, I think that he was just like, that's fucking me, because, like I said, he said it was becoming clearer. Now, it's interesting because it was Jonas coming back that made him make that choice. I kind of thought they were going through, like, this thing where, because they had Mikkel getting really sick and he seemed to be getting worse as the night went on, I thought that there was going to be something of, like, the reason that Michael did what he did was because they couldn't exist in the same place at the same time, two versions of himself. And so it was like fucking up the fabric of reality or something. I clearly that's not what they're doing, so I just was reading too much into it. But yeah, that's kind of what I thought they were going to do. But it just turns out that Jonas coming back and talking to his dad about the letter and about what he does is what causes it to happen. And that is, like I said, what I suspected. It's unfortunate that Jonas didn't, maybe ask a few more questions beforehand when he was talking to Adam. I think that he's actually incredibly trusting for what he's been through up to this point. And I don't know. I wish that he would be a little bit more sus, but then I don't know. Everything is playing out exactly the way that Adam wants it to. Because again, Adam has the foresight of he went through all this because of the loop. So he already knows everything that's going to happen and all the choices that he's going to make that lead him to become Adam. So I'm really curious how Jonas is going to possibly change things when he has been stuck on this course so far and Adam has been anticipating every single thing that he's done to this point and manipulating it so that it happens. Maybe adult Jonas, but again, I'm not entirely convinced that he's not already becoming Adam because of his withholding of key information from key people. So also really interested in what is going on with Alexander. The murder in Marburg is still unsolved 33 years later. Now, him and another guy, from my recollection of that episode, at least him, there was 2 passports and he took an assumed identity. So did he have something to do with the murder? And if so, what did he have to do with the murder? Because here I am last episode, like, I think he's such a good guy, which, I think he could still be a good person and have killed someone, I guess, depending on the circumstances. And I think that people are also capable of growing and changing and evolving and becoming different versions of themselves, hopefully. We're all capable of being much better people in the future than we've been in the past, I'm just curious, like, if we're going to finally find out why he did the passport, why he had the gun, why Hannah's blackmailing him, or, exactly what she has over him. I don't even think she knows. She just knows about the passport and the gun. But, yeah. I'm curious as to what we're going to find out with that situation and if Clausen is going to put it together and figure it out. It was really interesting to sort of see the beginnings. Like, I don't know if it was the makeup. I don't know if he's just that good of an actor. But it was really fascinating to see these 2 versions of Jonas interacting with Marta. So I don't know if I don't know. But he looked so much younger and more innocent when, in the scenes from last summer versus now. I'm also glad that his dad called that his hair was longer because, Marta was just, hard eyes, motherfucker, she didn't notice a fucking thing. Which, yeah, it's just, I don't ship it because that's literally his aunt. But I can kind of, I guess, understand where Jonas is coming from in that moment because he thinks he's, gonna make himself not exist anymore. So what's the harm, right? Because once he does what he does, his thinking, right? once he talks to his dad, once he stops him from doing that, Mikkel will never go back, which means that he'll never be born. So I can see from his perspective why he would be like, before I not really die, because you wouldn't, like, dying is different than never existing at all, right? But before I make myself not exist anymore, I might as well, tell her how I feel once and for all, so she knows that I do think that, which is really interesting. And kind of the moment that he told her that, and he said it in those exact words, like, I think we're a perfect match. It's kind of like the moment that that all of this has happened before and it's all going to happen again. Kind of, a la Battlestar Galactica. I think I've made that reference before. But just because she said that to him in the episode where, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she said it to him in the episode where they were, after he found out, and they were kind of like fighting a little bit, and then it was like pouring rain, and she didn't understand what was going on because he was pulling away. And so I think that was the scene where she said that. And so we're supposed to be like, oh, I get it now. So yeah, we keep being in this loop, and I don't know that we're going to be able to find our way out of it, because so far we have not found our way out of it. We're just still stuck in the same loop that we've been stuck in this whole time. So yeah, I think it's interesting, this idea of like, what is the beginning? Because I'm curious if even Adam knows like what the very beginning is, right? Because the fact that this had to happen in order for this to happen, in order for this to happen, like, the dad had to commit suicide in order for him to write the letter to Jonas that Jonas eventually finds, that causes Jonas to do all the things that Jonas does. But then if Jonas had never gone back in time to tell the dad to do that, then he would have never gotten the letter. So the whole show is a bootstrap paradox, as I've talked about many times before, as the show has talked about many times before. So I'm really curious if we'll ever sort of figure out the real origin, or if there even is an origin of everything. I also thought it was interesting that Marta told Jonas that when they found the necklace that it was, I think, St. Christopher. Could be wrong. Don't feel like scrubbing through to find out. But he was the patron saint of travelers, which is just very interesting when you think about the fact that the people that do Sic Mundus Creatus Est, that was horribly pronounced. Sic Mundus, though, the people who do that are later called the travelers. And, like, Adam names them, so interesting. I also think that it's interesting that Ulrich and Hannah's relationship seemingly started the night of his 25th anniversary party. Yeah. Like, it's a bad look for him. I understand that it's also, like, clearly based off of the beginning scenes with Hannah and Michael and Ulrich and Katarina, that there's been like a little bit of issues in these relationships, right? Like, obviously Ulrich was feeling neglected in some way, and Hannah, same. I don't really think that cheating is the answer. I think that, open conversation, and then, maybe you should decide that you're not compatible anymore, and then break up, and then try to see other people if that's what you want, or put work into making your relationship work, But I can understand that there was issues, and then he was already feeling that way. Then at the party, she disappears, and of course we know it's because she's taking care of Mikkel, who is still quite sick. In fact, seemingly got worse. And then I guess he was feeling neglected. And of course, Hannah was there to, Hannah her way into it. So, I don't know. Hannah obviously seemed like she was feeling neglected as well in her relationship. So, again, I don't think that that's an excuse. I don't really think that there is an excuse. But I also understand that people are nuanced and flawed, and we all make mistakes. So, I'm not going to hold it too much against them, I guess. But again, I not the way that I would do it, but yeah. I also thought it was interesting to see the beginning of like Magnus and Franzica, and to see Franzica sort of realizing about her dad, and to just see where Peter and Charlotte are now, which seems to be in such a better place in 2020 than they were in 2019. So yeah, I still would like a little bit more clarity on Peter and his like is he just cheating because he said he's getting nothing from her, which again, conversation, maybe talk to your fucking wife, maybe try, maybe couples therapy. Aren't you a therapist, sir? Anyway, so I don't know what's going on with Peter. I still feel like his character is a bit of a mystery to me. But yeah, it was interesting to see sort of the origins of a lot of the things that we've seen later, if that makes sense. Also, was not expecting Claudia to just fucking show up at the end and like start talking to Jonas, I'm really curious to see how that's going to go, because we know from adult Jonas that him and Claudia have a relationship when he's younger. Jonas also still does not have the scars on his back yet, so very curious as to where that's going to come into play. Presumably it will, if things keep going according to this same kind of loop that we seem to still be stuck in. Curious as to why Jonas is going to lead Mikkel into the cave. Yeah, just there's a lot of intrigue happening right now. Like, how is Magnus with Adam later? Like, who is the other person? Is it Franzica? Is it somebody else we don't know? Just so many questions. Kind of like always, just so many questions that I have, and I cannot wait to find out more, which I can only do by watching more. So I'm gonna go. I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Remember, if you want, you can watch every single episode of Dark, the full-length versions. Watch along style. That is over on Patreon, which will be linked in the description down below. You can also watch the next episode right now on Early Access. If you're watching this on YouTube, that will already be up. So join me if you want to see the next episode right now, because I wish I could travel. Wait. I think this show has taught us that we do not wish that. We do not wish that. I just wish I could see what happens next right now, but I do not in any way want to time travel to find it, because that seems like a whole mess. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I do have an appointment to get to pretty soon, so I need to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. And I hope to see you next week for episode 7. We're almost at the finale of this season, you guys. I can't fucking believe it. Until next time. Bye, guys.